Hi, I'm super excited to talk to you about my video course on SQL Server Performance Tuning. I am developing this course and producing it under SQLMaestros. And today I'm very happy I'm going to talk to you very candidly about the background of this course, this master series, the exhaustive content, and why am I doing it? And most importantly, how can you, the SQL community, benefit from this video course on SQL Server Performance Tuning. So first things first, let's get started and allow me to tell you something about myself. My name is Amit Bansal and I have been working with SQL Server since 1997. I started my career as a developer where I was doing Visual Basic programming, and I only used to use SQL Server in backend just to store data and retrieve data. But as our project sizes grew and we started storing and working with a lot of data, there were performance issues. And unfortunately, there was no one in our team who could deal with performance issues in SQL Server. So much so, none of us even knew what indexes are and how can we actually go and tune indexes. And it is funny, we didn't even understand or know about the B-tree structure of indexes. So I'm just giving you some examples of how difficult or how unknown we were about SQL Server performance tuning or the internals of SQL Server. But there was this great opportunity for me to kind of learn more about SQL Server, and I just really got more interested and excited, and I took this opportunity and I started learning the internals of SQL Server, and I started reading a lot of books online, and that got me so fascinated about this product and how the entire database engine works, the query processor, the relational engine, the SQL OS component. I got so fascinated and so engrossed that I just left programming and Visual Basic and DCOM, everything behind, and I just focused on SQL Server. And since then, it has been a roller coaster ride. Starting from 2005 onwards, I moved heavily into consulting and training around SQL Server. And this year, 2019, when I'm recording this video for you, it's the month of May. And till date, I have worked with more than 200 big global SQL Server customers across the globe. I have trained and consulted more than 9,000 SQL Server DBAs, developers, architects, and SQL Server practitioners across the globe. Microsoft has also honored me with Microsoft Certified Master of SQL Server and also Microsoft Most Valuable Professional on SQL Server. Apart from my day job of consulting and training, whenever I get an opportunity, I also speak at global conferences, and I'm very thankful to those conference organizers and the community for selecting me as a speaker. I have spoken at almost all conferences worldwide. A few years back, I also founded Data Platform Geeks and SQLServerGeeks.com. These were my community initiatives to kind of impart free education around SQL Server and Microsoft Data Platform. I also lead Data Platform Summit, which is an annual conference that happens in Bangalore each year, which focuses on SQL Server and Microsoft data and AI platform. It's a very big conference and I love to be part of it. Microsoft has also honored me with regional director status. So that's pretty much about me. That URL, SQLMaestros.com/Amit-Bansal. That's the URL you can visit to learn more about me. But yes, today I only want to talk to you about SQL Server and what my experience and expertise has been with this product over 20 years. So what's the background to this course, SQL Server Internals Troubleshooting and Performance Tuning? In the year 2004-2005, I moved heavily into SQL Server consulting and training, and primarily I focused on performance tuning because that had been my core area of specialization and I had done a lot of work around that. And I worked closely with Microsoft, many Microsoft partners and customers, and I helped their applications, I helped their SQL Server deployments and tuned queries, made sure the overall deployment and the installation is performing better. So tuning queries, tuning databases, tuning execution plans, I did everything and all of that. And at some point, I started building this course, SQL Server Internals Troubleshooting and Performance Tuning. In fact, in those years, this wasn't even the title. I don't really remember which year I started off building the course, but gradually, as I was doing a lot of real world work with the customers, I started incorporating all of that into my training. And it's just like naturally and gradually this course started getting built up, and it transformed into this massive 40-hour content. So all the real world learnings that I used to get from customers, I started putting them into academic deployments with this course. And then it took shape as a 40-hour class, SQL Server internals troubleshooting and performance tuning. So what I did with that, the first thing was corporate classes. Of course, traditionally in those years, when I say those years, I'm talking kind of about around 2010 and even before that. I personally visited customers and I trained their developers and DBAs on SQL Server performance tuning using this course. And this is the typical corporate training that I used to do. So in a classroom setup with 15, 20, 25, sometimes even 30, 35 people, we used to do this massive, big training for the whole week, talking about the internals of SQL Server and performance tuning with every aspect of SQL Server. And then this went on for many years, and then came a moment when I wasn't able to do too many assignments because it required a lot of traveling, and there were a lot of customers where I wanted to do this, and those customers wanted me to come to every location, but that wasn't possible. And in many cases, customers had a team of 2 DBAs or 3 DBAs, and trying to do an exclusive class for them wasn't really very cost effective. And that gave birth to the concept of public classes, and we called them as SQLMaestros master classes. And then we did this master classes across India in almost all cities where we had maximum big customers of SQL Server, and many customers joined those master classes, and it was very popular. So the same content, the same outline, that 40 hours massive content was delivered in a public class format. And then, of course, talking about a few years back, maybe around 2014 or 15 onwards, online training was becoming very popular. People started getting a lot of good internet bandwidth in their homes and offices. And so we thought, why not take our classes online? Because when I was doing all of these trainings and consulting, I used to get in connect with a lot of customers who were outside India, from neighboring countries, and even from US, Europe, and Australia. But traveling physically to many of these places wasn't really very practical for a lot of good reasons. So we took these classes online, and then we launched online master classes. But then delivering a 40-hour online master class is always not very practical. So we made it into shorter modules, online master class, and we used to call it accelerators. So we had SQL performance tuning accelerators for developers, for DBAs, for architects. Same content, but a bit fine-tuned for each persona, for each role. And of course, they were also, thankfully, very popular. So a lot of work around all of that stuff. And as I was traveling to many of these conferences worldwide, and I was speaking on this subject, SQL Server, and most of my sessions were always on SQL Server performance tuning. My friends and MVP colleagues, they recommended that why don't I deliver pre-cons? So as you know, pre-cons are full day classes that happen prior to the conference, generally 1 day, 2 days before any conference. And then I took a shot at that. And since last year, I've been doing a lot of pre-cons across different countries like Australia, New Zealand, Belgium, US, Europe, and many countries in these continents. And I'll talk about that in a moment. Yeah, so it was a great start. And then what I did, again, because pre-cons are a single day, full day class, and then my content was very exhaustive. So again, I created a 1 day module, 1 day version of my content for these pre-conference training. So again, 1 day pre-con for developers, for DBAs, for architects, so on and so forth. And came a very good reckoning moment for me in my career and with my content. And I'm very grateful to Microsoft Learning also for this. They approached me, and they were building this course, which is Microsoft Learning course 10987, and this course is actually based on my content, which is SQL Server internals troubleshooting and performance tuning. So I started working with them and gave them my content, and this course was built based on my content. So if you see, the outlines are also very similar. But then a moment came when I wasn't very very happy with the way the entire learning format of Microsoft works, and they were cutting down on the slide content, the demo content, and a lot of advanced stuff and expert stuff was being removed. And of course, it's their choice and how they work, and they know the audience better. But I really wanted to ensure that my content is of expert level, and it should remain that if my name and if my content is attached to anyone's product for that matter. So the course is still there, largely based on my content, but then at some point I detached myself from this course because I didn't want to really twist my course and my content beyond a certain point or certain limit. So yeah, this is all that I have done till now with respect to SQL Server internals, troubleshooting and performance tuning course. So exhaustive content, 40 hours of duration, different delivery formats, and a lot of worldwide delivery. So it has been a roller coaster ride. And all the feedback from my classes, pre-cons, public masterclass, online masterclass, corporate training, it's all up there on this URL bit.ly/MC testimonials. Yes, it's up there. Unlike many other trainers and instructors, I do not like to take private feedback. I used to do something really funny. After every class, I used to take a group photograph with my attendees and participants, and I used to put it up on LinkedIn and Facebook. And I used to tell people, just go and give your feedback there. Good, bad, ugly, whatever you think about the class, the content, the delivery, just put it up there. So on this URL, bit.ly/MC testimonials, click on it. It's there in the YouTube description. You can go and read feedback from more than 1,000 people across many years and many classes, many conferences, and people from all over the world. And now give me a minute, and I would like to take you through some of the recent trainings that I have done across the globe. And as I just spoke about the international pre-cons that I was doing last year and this year. So I started off with New Zealand, and I delivered this one-day version of my masterclass, which was tuned towards developers and DBAs. So the picture on the left side is from Christchurch, and the one I did from Auckland was a small class. And then this was followed by delivering this class in Australia and Singapore. Again, great audience, great learning from this international crew. And then I delivered this class in Denmark as part of, again, SQL Saturday. And this was in Copenhagen. So it was a big class. And of course, people had actually come from a couple of countries in Europe. So it was a great experience. And this year, I'm recording this in May 2019. So this year has been awesome. I have delivered multiple versions of my performance tuning class in SQL Saturday Wellington, in Definity Conference in New Zealand, and of course, a very big conference of Europe, SQLBits in Manchester. And going forward, the remaining part of the year, I will be traveling to the US, Poland, Sweden, and Belgium to deliver this class. And yes, wanted to take a moment to showcase this great picture that I took in SQLBits in Manchester. So it was a wonderful class, great audience, and what a hectic day it was to deliver this 9-hour training. And again, this feedback is also up there on this URL, bit.ly/MC testimonials. So this is one URL you should definitely go and read. So it's conference by conference, session by session, class by class. It has been divided, and all the links are up there with screenshots. So you should spend some time there. So what did the course outline really look like? So if you see from module 1 to module 12, I was trying to cover the entire length and breadth of SQL Server from a performance tuning perspective. Starting off with the architecture, scheduling, weights, SQL Server I/O, database structure, the memory, concurrency in transactions, statistics and index internals. I mean, the first 6 modules are really focused a lot on the internals of how things work inside SQL Server. And then comes really module 7 to 12, where we really dive deep into performance tuning and troubleshooting with extended events, monitoring, tracing, baselining, and troubleshooting all common performance issues with I/O, memory, CPU, concurrency, TempDB, and leading all of that with plan caching and recompilation. And the last two modules were very exhaustive: the query execution and query plan analysis, and query tuning, and of course, one of my favorites, index tuning. So yeah, a lot of deep dive content in these 12 modules. This 40 hours content was packed with a lot of demos and real world content, and honestly I struggled to finish off the content. There were so many demos to be shown, and on each single day I overshot my time. I always used to extend the class, and the participant and attendees would just always wanted more and more. And sometimes I used to give them a lot of hands-on labs so that they could play around with the demos that I was delivering in the class. So yeah, this is what the course outline for the masterclass, the 40 hours content, looked like. So what next? After delivering this course for so many corporates over the years, so many conferences and both public classes and online classes, so many pre-cons with so many international conferences, I mean more than 170 batches over last 15-16 years. This has been amazing. It is overwhelming. And now there's a moment came in my life where now I cannot travel so much. I can't take long flights. I really cannot take those overnight flights, and travel has cut down. I only visit a very few conferences, very few customers, only critical cases, so to say. So of course age is catching up, and there is a lot of commitment back home. And all this was going on, and it gave birth to this idea of why not record all my content, all my demos, and not limit myself to just 40 hours and go even beyond that. I mean, literally freak out and put everything that I know about SQL Server, internals and performance tuning, and all the real world experience that I have with my content, with a big list of modules, and package everything into this video course. So this idea of a massive video course came to my mind, and that's why I call this as Master Series, because it's the next version of my masterclass. Masterclass was always limited to, let's say, 40 hours of content because it was limited by the time. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 5 days a week, 3 days a week, or just a full day class. But with video course, there is absolutely no limit. I can record as much as I want, and I can train and teach as much as I want. And I started recording this video course with a professional studio, but then I was more comfortable setting up my own recording studio, which you're seeing now. And it's just amazing. I can record anytime, and I'm cruising along wonderfully in a sense of recording this video course for all of you. So how does this master series or the video course really look like? So master series is a more elaborate and exhaustive version of the content in the form of high definition videos, which I'm professionally recording in my own studio now. And as it turns out, it is going to be more than 100 hours of content, and probably I guess I might even touch probably 160 or even 170 hours of content. So the bit.ly link is bit.ly/AB video course. AB there stands for Amit Bansal. So that's the link you should visit if you want to know more about this video course. And let's go through the outline of the video course. So just a few minutes back, you saw the outline of the masterclass, which was like 40 hours and 12 modules. But look at the video course now. So the video course is approximately more than 20 modules, starting from module 1 and all the way to module 21 as of now on the screen. And I start from Windows fundamentals, then get into SQL Server architecture, CPU, I/O, and then troubleshooting I/O performance, then understanding database structures, memory, wait stats, optimizing logging, a lot of troubleshooting, query optimizer, query tuning, plan caching, recompilation. Lot of them. I just don't want to read out the module names. That is for you to read. But a few things you will notice in this course outline. Like for example, let me use the highlighter here for a moment. For example, let's say module 4 is SQL Server I/O, where I talk about the internals of SQL Server I/O, the asynchronous I/O patterns. And then look at module 5, which immediately follows module 4, which is troubleshooting I/O performance. So what has been my focus? My focus has been talking about I/O, the internals, and then straight away moving into showing you performance tuning aspects with IO. And this is the trend that I have been following. So even if you look at module 7, where is the pointer there? Okay, so module 7 with SQL Server memory, where I talk about the internals and architecture, and then module 8 where I will show you a lot of demos related to troubleshooting memory. So every module is being delivered, and I'm recording these videos to talk about the internals, and the next one follows the real world application of that learning. And I am, of course, just not trying to make it very bookish. I'm trying to keep the content limited so that it is really relevant to your day-to-day job, which is tuning SQL Server databases, tuning SQL Server, and tuning the server itself. And also, let me be very honest with you, the list of modules that you see right now on the screen, it's going to change, because as I am recording, I'm also fine-tuning and curating the content. For example, if you see module 6, which is database structures. So I am actually not doing it here. I'm going to do module database structures before module 4. So these are some changes and fine tuning that I am doing to ensure that the content follows, the overall course follows a wonderful outline and the wonderful structured way of delivering this course, delivering this content to you. So the bit.ly link, bit.ly/AB video course, has the full details of these modules, and maybe depending on when you're watching this video, if you go to that link, you can always download the latest outline from the website. And as I said, I will keep updating it, and I will keep curating it based on what's the best for the community. Now that I have done corporate training, public classes, both offline and online, and I'm doing this video course, I think I'm pretty confident and sure to kind of compare as to which learning format really gives a lot of value for money to the SQL community, to the customers. So here is a quick comparison for you to see. When we talk about the classroom training, which is like the trainer traveling to your location and delivering the training, I see there are good advantages of it, because I still really love classroom training, but then there are a lot of bottlenecks. Of course, trainers are expensive, and you pay the trainers travel and excursion for his accommodation, etc. You just can't fit only a limited amount of people in a class. Otherwise, the class learning quality goes down, and then because you can fit only limited people, per pax cost goes very high. You have to book infrastructure, make all the necessary arrangements, and then you get really blocked for the whole week, and your project also suffers. So while in-person training still is really great, there are a lot of these bottlenecks. And when I was doing these public batches where people from different companies could come and attend a class which is for the public and anyone can join, that also had its own limitation. The first and the foremost issue was fixed schedule, fixed outline, zero flexibility, which means you, irrespective of what your experience and expertise is, unlike the corporate training where you also have the flexibility of customizing the outline, in the public batch you can't customize anything. I mean, it is a fixed thing that you need to get accustomed to, and then of course you have to take off for the whole week, and and the remaining things always are the same. The cost is high, and you might have to travel to a different city, a different location, and that will also all add up to the cost. And when you talk about online training, and as I mentioned before, delivering a 40-hour online training or even more than that is of course very impractical. So I have never done it, and I never see a real practical use of it. So what we did, all our online masterclasses and accelerators were of very short durations, like 4 hours and 8 hours, broken into smaller module. And then when I compare all of this with the video course, I see just a lot of advantages. Then the first one is more than 100 hours of content, which is the content itself is not limited by the time factor, and content is very, very modular. Each module is broken down into topics and subtopics, and there are short demos that explain the concept and all the relevant demos that are associated with it. And of course, it is available as a video course, which you can just go and subscribe, and you have your credentials, you can log in, and you can watch anytime, anywhere and watch as many times. I mean, that is just incredible, because really think about it. When you attend a 5-day class and the week after that and the week after that and the month after that, how much do you really remember of what was learned? So here is the best, the beauty of a video course is you can just watch it as many times as you want and go over the demos and the concepts again and again. And the hands-on labs are accompanied with it, with the video course. But yes, all the labs are going to be packaged with our SQLMaestros hands-on labs, and that's a separate product. It is not part of the video course, but you can always combine and take them together. And it is an amazing way of balancing your work and your learning. You don't really have to take 8 hours off a day, or you don't have to go off for the whole week. You can learn in bits and pieces and focus on your work also. And yes, self-paced learning is the best way, and that's why video course to me is of course a clear winner. Lot of advantages out there. Here are a few things you should know before you think about subscribing to this video course. First thing, as I mentioned before, this is going to be a lot of content, more than 100 hours of content, and this is going to be a deep dive, comprehensive coverage. Remember, if you just want quick performance tuning tips here and there as a developer or a DBA, then this course is not for you. This is for someone who really want to dive deep inside SQL Server and want to have a structured learning, the length, the breadth, and the depth. And there are, of course, when I talked about the Master Series, let me just explain this to you a bit more. So, of course, this is going to be like more than 100 to 150 hours of content. And if you really want to learn everything, you can start from module 1, go all the way to the last module. Let's say it's module 25, and just watch every module, every sub-module, every topic, every demo. And this is like the Master Series. But if you're a developer and you only want to focus on developer stuff, then I am going to prepare a developer outline, a developer path. So from the same 150 hours of content, I will point you to the specific modules and the topics that you should watch, which is going to be the developer path. Similarly, there is going to be the DBA path, and there is going to be the architect path. So this is how I'm going to give you different versions of the same content, and that's why I call this as a master series. There's also, while I am recording this course already, as I speak to you right now, there's a lot of interesting stuff that I'm doing, as I just talked about, curating the outline. So for example, I was doing this module on Windows fundamentals, and I was recording a few demos around threads and processes. There were 2-3 demos that I really wanted to do, and I wanted to show it to the audience, but then I was already crossing like 7 demos in just one topic. So I added another subtopic called additional content, right, or supplementary content, and I put those demos there. So what this really is like, everything that I know and I learn and I really want to show you, I'm recording it and I'm putting it in, let's say, additional stuff. So even if you don't watch that additional stuff, you can still continue learning, and whenever you have time, you can go and learn that additional stuff. So that's the beauty of this master series. And when this course is released, I am also going to keep this constantly updated, and that's the point that I was trying to make. Deep dive, advanced content. Of course, this is master series, so it goes without saying, a no-brainer that this is going to be deep dive stuff and expert level modules, and I'm going to constantly keep them updated. Let's say I learn something new with a customer that I have not seen before. I'm going to record a demo and update in my video course as an additional module, and that's the whole fun. You watch anytime, anywhere, as many times, and as a subscriber, you get a notification from me that a new content or a new demo has been added to the video course. So many demos that I'm going to do here. How are you going to practice that? So you can practice all of those demos using SQLMaestros hands-on labs. Video course is a product from SQLMaestros. Hands-on labs is another product. You can purchase and subscribe to both of them together or separately. If you just want to watch and learn, you're most welcome. But if you want to even practice, because I believe practice makes you perfect, and the best way to learn is to do it yourself, you should try all my demos with the hands-on labs. So as it stands out, there might be like more than 50 to 60 different labs on the performance tuning stuff. I'm going to document them and put them in the hands-on labs library. So when you hear about these things, and when I really visualize how massive this content is going to be, I see that the video course turns out to be the most cost effective way of learning SQL Server performance tuning. Today on the internet and through a lot of good known reputed instructors and trainers and subject matter experts, there's already a lot of content out there, and I really respect and appreciate all of that. That's all good stuff out there, but this is a masterpiece. This is going to be something completely different, very comprehensive, and of course a very wide coverage, one of its kind. So next steps now. What are the next steps? If you find all this interesting, first I will strongly recommend that you go to SQLMaestros YouTube channel, that is youtube.com/SQLMaestros, and watch a few demos from me, a few videos. I keep recording a lot of videos and I put up there. Now remember, when you're watching those videos are not a real indicator of what the video course content is going to be, because as all of you can understand, YouTube videos are all free for the community, so I just don't put too much time there. I cannot. And of course video course is something which customers are paying for, so I need to make sure that the quality is top notch, both in terms of content and both in terms of the audio and visual quality. But the YouTube videos will give you an indication of the kind of content that you can actually get. Of course, as I said, both in terms of content quality and in terms of the video and audio quality, it's going to be much better. So watch a few videos. You get to see me, you get to hear me, you get to learn a few things from me. And if you think that's really interesting, then you should go into the SQLMaestros video course page. You can follow that bit.ly link, or just go to SQLMaestros.com and navigate to the video course section. And there you can send your subscription request, and SQLMaestros team will revert to you. So it's just really as simple as that. The release timeline for this video course is October 2019, which is of course a few months from now. October 2019, end of month. I'm recording this in May, so yeah, whenever you're watching it, it will be released in October 2019. And if you are watching this video after October 2019, the video course is already released. So just go and subscribe. And now, because you are going to, because the video course is released in October 2019, one question will come to your mind as to why should you subscribe now, right? And the reason is, if you subscribe now while the video course is under production, SQLMaestros is offering you 50% off on the regular price. That is a big deal. This is only for a very limited time, and it might be taken off anytime, and there is absolutely no commitment on the time there. So I don't know when you're watching this video, so I'm not even sure if this 50% off is still valid or not. But if it is, go and grab it, right? The course is going to be released in October 2019, and you should, if you're really serious about SQL Server performance tuning, just go ahead and subscribe to it. It's a steal for you. Other contact points from SQLMaestros, it's very straightforward. Just drop an email to contact@SQLMaestros.com, and someone from the team will revert to you if you have more questions. Three important things out there: performance tuning video course, the bit.ly link I have already shared. That's the full URL on the first bullet there. Hands-on labs is another product. So if you're not interested in the video course, and if you just really want to practice a lot of stuff by yourself, you should explore our hands-on lab library. We have a popular SQL Server health check service also. Many customers have leveraged that. Explore that if you need that for your company, for your environment. And all in all, if nothing interests you, no problem. Just be a subscriber to our YouTube channel. There is a lot of learning content out there. youtube.com/SQLMaestros. And as I mentioned before, any questions, just drop us an email at contact@SQLMaestros.com, and someone from the team will revert to you. With this, thank you very much for watching this video. It was long, and I really appreciate your time in listening to me and understanding my background, my time that I've spent with SQL Server, more than 20 years, and what I've done in the past and what I'm trying to do now. And this video course is going to be a masterpiece from the master. Thank you very much.